So as the curtain closes on the festive season, in comes the new year with fresh resolutions. Weight loss, healthy lifestyle remain amongst the most popular resolutions, but they don't only require commitment. They can often be quite costly. So let's get some tips to really empower you with everything you need this year on achieving those goals. I'm joined by Chef Kele Masigo. Good morning.
How are you?
Well, good afternoon, because I usually do the show in the morning, but it is well and truly into the afternoon. So I was looking at these gorgeous things that you brought into the studio with you, and I think we did show our viewers an overhead view of this. I knew what it was, which is great. So that is kind of salsa, and then you've got chicken wraps, but instead of carbohydrates, Kele has used lettuce leaves, and then we've got some tzatziki. Talk to us about this food, which looks beautiful, which I'm going to know in a moment or two whether it's tasty or not, but is also healthy, Kele.
Yes, it is. First of all, with the New Year's resolution, I decided why not start off clean. And with starting off clean, I made a low-carb tacos, which I've used lettuce instead of actually tortillas. And then here I've got my fruit salsa. It has mango, it has cucumber, your peppers, and a bit of seasoning. And then I've got my chips, obviously, from the tortilla wraps.
Now, something like this would be, I imagine, filling, but also quite healthy. Talk to us about the limitations on carbohydrates, for example, in our diet, the limitations on salts and sugars that you would normally put into things, and then low-carb options if you really, really want them.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to sugar and your salt intake, I always use natural sugars when it comes to food, like food that are naturally sugared, like your fruits. You don't have to use any sugar or sweetness in your dishes because of those fruits have sugar and their sugars is quite healthy. And then when it comes to salt, you know, I always say everything in moderation. So you don't have to put a lot of salt or a lot of seasoning into your food. So a little bit of them, it goes a long way.
Do you know what I found? Because I've also got, I'm diabetic, is cutting down on sugar, your body actually heightens its taste. Your taste buds are less desensitized to sugar when it does appear. That even, you know, things I would eat before, like sweets and chocolates, are too sweet for my mouth. I'd rather have a lovely juicy mango or even a beautiful cherry, 10 calories by the way, 10 calories each, which turns out to satisfy the sugar craving. So I like the point that you're making, that we can reduce, and after a while, food will taste actually better, because you can taste everything.
Definitely.
I want your thoughts on mindful eating. We tend to look at something gorgeous like this and then we just eat a lot because we're eating with our eyes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of conventional wisdom and research which talks about waiting and pausing in between different portions to see if you really are eating for taste or because your body really needs it.
Well, first of all, you need to listen to your body, because when you are hungry, you need to listen to your body and eat. But then when you are full, you also need to listen to your body and not over excessively like eat and force yourself to finish a plate. So when you eat in small portions, then you get to gauge whether I'm actually getting there or I am there. So you can gauge your food intake and consumption by actually not overly dishing up a big portion of food on your plate. Just take things in moderation.
So make the portion size smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, so dish up with the smaller plate.
Yes.
And it doesn't need to be a mountain.
Exactly.
You know, the other thing is, if you're eating but doing other activities, you take away from your body registering how much food you're putting into it. So, you know, sitting, not trying to watch a movie while you're busy gobbling down and eating more than you likely should is probably another good way to go.
It is, actually. When you occupy yourself with something, you actually do not really focus on, oh my gosh, I need to get a piece of pie, I need to get a piece of this, I need to get a piece of that. But when you dish up your food and then let's say you are watching TV like you said, in that way you don't actually have to have a full plate of food. You subconsciously thinking to yourself, actually this is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Right, let's get back to the recipes because that's really, really your area. And this really does look beautiful.
Thank you.
Maybe just a few more recipes before we talk about affordability, because for a lot of families, and we do a lot of stories on the program about families who live beneath the poverty line. So sometimes trying to have a healthy diet can be quite expensive, prohibitively so for those people. But talk to us about quick and easy recipes that you have on hand.
Okay, right here I have my chicken. I feel like chicken is somewhat a staple in our families. It's one thing that we'll buy regardless. We would choose chicken over beef because of it's less expensive. So here I've got my chicken breast, and then I've got chili, and then the salsa that I've made here, I've also used it for this low carb tacos. And then here I've got my salsa. My mango salsa, I mean, it's summer, it's vibrant, it's sweet. And
What you put in there? So I know you've got, you said mango, cucumber.
Tomato, peppers, and a bit of seasoning.
Right.
To it.
And look, I'm a cook, so I know what's in the tzatziki, but that's a wonderful fresh dip. Talk to us about the ingredients in there.
Okay, in this one particularly, I've used plain yogurt, which is a good substitute for anything. And then I've used my gherkins and then a bit of herbs like dill and mint to it. Yeah.
Okay, so this is wonderful, and it looks like a wonderfully fresh sort of summer menu. As we get into the year, and you know, in South Africa, we have all these weird seasons happening. Sometimes you have 4 seasons in a month. People want something that's a little more comforting, warmer. So these are cool and, you know, these are fresh dishes. But when you are consuming a more comforting meal, that's when things really get loaded in there.
I know, yeah.
So how do we achieve a nutritious but comforting meal?
Nutrition, it doesn't have to be boring, actually.
Really?
So,
say it again.
Being on a diet, it doesn't really have to be boring. So when you need something comforting or warm, when you have something like your rice, there's a lot of substitute for rice or for pap. So you can use your couscous instead of your normal rice or your normal pap. You can use your brown rice if you have the finances for it. But those are the little things that you can substitute to have a more filling and warm meal that you need to have.
So again, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking mangoes this season were very, very expensive. So that is almost luxurious. The lettuce you've chosen, is it romaine or iceberg?
It's romaine.
It's romaine, also quite expensive.
Yes.
So how do families who are struggling strike that balance in being able to still achieve a nutritious meal without breaking the bank?
Well, with food, you can always substitute with something. Like with the lettuce that I've used here, you can use an iceberg. Iceberg is much more cheaper. And then if you don't have chicken, you can use canned tuna. It's absolutely affordable, and it's also goes well with the dish. And then with mangoes, you don't have to use mangoes really. You can use
just more cucumber.
Yeah, more cucumber,
and
your tomatoes and chili. Yeah.
So we've eaten something, but we feel, I really want more. You know, or I need a gap filler, or I'm starving. And generally when you're starving, you just grab a piece of bread and you put whatever it is, peanut butter, whatever it is. And I'm a fan of real butter, by the way. What is a good sort of gap filler, but that is also healthy?
A good gap filler that is also healthy, I would say a piece of fruit. You don't go wrong with fruits. If you have a banana is filling. You can eat a banana and be filled for the entire day. So a piece of fruit will be absolutely amazing. And also, like I said, you need to take things all in moderation. If you're gonna have your Simba chips, don't have the entire bag. Just have a little, just to have a little joy in your diet. So everything in moderation.
And probably, as you said earlier, rather decant. If you've got a massive bag of chips and you take the whole thing with you, you know, you're going to be like, oh, what happened? Oops, you know, it's all finished. But if you decant it into a bowl, you are managing your portions and you're also saying to yourself, this is all I'm going to eat.
Exactly.
So weight loss, as we said in the beginning, is one of the key New Year's resolutions that people have. And I wonder how full the gyms were on New Year's Day, and people that won't come back, like maybe, you know, at the beginning beginning of Feb, but let's not judge. At least people have showed up and they've tried to at least do something a little bit differently. What foods, and we can even talk about beverages, Kele, promote weight loss?
For me, weight loss, it's a journey that you enter on your own, but also you need to understand that when it comes to weight loss, we're not looking for perfection, we're looking for progress. So when you get into a weight loss journey, you need to be mindful of your lifestyle, basically. So your eating habits, you need to cut them down. Your drinking habits, also, you need to cut them down. We're not saying don't drink or don't enjoy the things that you used to enjoy. You can do that, but then you don't have to overly excessive things to jeopardize your journey. So the little steps that you take can actually take you a very long way.
But I want to go back to the concept of planning and preparation, because without planning and preparation, a fixed mindset on your goals, you're definitely going to prepare for failure. You can write that down and sign it. Definitely it will happen. So how do you meal prep? Do the kinds of foods that you've given us now, they look like they could keep in the fridge, right? So you could do this ahead of time and say, this is going to be, if you eat breakfast, I fast in the morning. If you eat breakfast, this is going to be my breakfast, my snack, and that's probably what dinner is going to be.
Definitely, you can definitely meal prep, and it's also one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself if you're on a journey of going into a diet. You can freeze, with a salsa, you can keep in the fridge for like a week or so. If it's properly stored, then you can keep it for like a week in the fridge. And then the things like your meat, you can cook your meat, freeze it properly, and then whenever you need it, you can take it out, thaw it, and then prepare it again, and then you can have it. So meal prep is also quite important.
Let's talk about beverages. Let's talk about smoothies.
Oh, I love smoothies. I have a smoothie every morning. Because,
what's in it?
Well, mine, because I have a problem with indigestion and
so like
constipation.
IBS in a way.
Yeah. So normally in my smoothies, I would have green smoothies, and it'll have a cucumber in it. It'll have a ginger, pineapple, a bit of apples. Well, green. The more green, the greater it is. That's what I say. And then a bit of water to it, and then I just blend it, and then I drink. It's very good.
Yeah, it sounds amazing, and there are lots of nutrients in there which are really good, and things that will keep you full throughout the day, especially if you're including all of that fiber. Before I let you go, any other healthy tips for our viewers out there? We want to keep that momentum going. We want to make people feel as if they can achieve what they've set out to achieve. I love what you said. It's not about perfection, it's about progress.
Yes.
So if you're making lifestyle changes, don't try and change 10 things at once, because it's not going to work. I'm thinking of James Clear and Atomic Habits. Change one thing, but do it consistently, and you'll have an exponentially higher return on that change investment. So talk to us about small steps into health.
Well, in terms of wanting to be healthy, like I said, we are looking for progress, not perfection. So don't bombard yourself with a lot of things and trying to be perfect just in the short period of time. So the moment you start saying, I'm going to eat healthy, just eliminate little things, little habits that you know they were actually not helping you to lose weight or to live a better, a healthier lifestyle. So eliminate smaller things and then integrate healthier habits like maybe walking for like 30 minutes or drinking a whole lot of water instead of having your cool drinks and all of those things that are acidic. So a little things that can help you into progressing forward, then that's.
And let me just remind our viewers as well, we're not giving medical advice. You need to, before you start on any program, and this is the disclaimer, you need to go see your doctor, go and check your cholesterol levels, go check your diabetic or your sugar levels, as we say. Where I come from, we'll say, I've got pressure or I've got sugar. So, testing whether you have high blood pressure or diabetes is actually a really good start, because then you can mold your diet and your eating plan to your body's health requirements. So, vegans as well, how do they cope? Because even on this plate, obviously the chicken will not be something that would be on the menu. The dairy would not be on the menu. So what alternatives for those who are vegan?
What I like about food is that there are always alternatives for everything. So instead of having chicken, you can have tofu. Tofu is really good.
Tofu sounds yucky.
If you cook it right, it's actually quite good.
I think a tofu curry. Make a tofu curry. Thank you very much, Chef. And my team is going to totally enjoy, right, guys? We can have our little lunch as soon as Chef Kele Masigo leaves. But thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having
and for
me.
sharing some of those tidbits and some ideas for how we can clean up our diet.